In the last class, we started with the process of digestion and we spoke about the buccal cavity, which includes teeth, and we learned about all the teeth in detail. Now let us go ahead and learn the next part of the buccal cavity, that is the tongue. The tongue is a fleshy muscular organ attached at the back to the floor of a buccal cavity. It is free in the front and moved in all directions. Now let us see the functions of the tongue. The tongue, if you see, has got a lot of taste buds. Bitter, sour, salty, sweet. Whenever you eat any food, it helps us to get the taste of the food. But it also helps us in talking and helps us in mixing the food, saliva with the food during chewing, and helps in swallowing food. Our mouth has salivary glands which secretes saliva. Saliva breaks down starch into sugar. After we learnt about the buccal cavity, we now move to the food pipe or esophagus. The teeth chew the food and the tongue mixes the food with the saliva. The swallowed food passes into the food pipe or esophagus. The food is pushed down by a movement of the wall of the food pipe. The partially digested food moves through the food pipe and reaches the stomach. Sometimes your parents tell you not to talk while eating food. The reason being, the food pipe and the windpipe are very close to each other. The windpipe carries air from the nostril, whereas the food pipe carries food. So when we swallow food, a flap-like valve closes the passage of the windpipe and guides the food into the food pipe. But if we talk while eating, food particles could enter into the windpipe and cause us choking. You must have experienced sometimes when you're talking and eating, you feel like coughing out and some grains get stuck into your nostril. So always take care that not to talk while having your food.
And pushes the food during swallowing. The slightly digested food in the mouth is swallowed by the tongue into a common passage for both respiratory and digestive tracts, that is, pharynx. When food enters into pharynx, the muscles of the pharynx contract to push the food into the esophagus or food pipe. At this time, the valve called epiglottis covering the windpipe closes. This prevents the food from entering the respiratory tract. From pharynx, the food is gulped down into the tube-like structure called esophagus. The esophagus is lined with muscles that contract and relax rhythmically.
From the food pipe or the esophagus, the food moves into a stomach. The stomach is a thick-walled bag. It is flattened U. It receives food from the food pipe at one end and opens into the smaller intestine at the other. Let us see the functions of the stomach. The stomach has got the inner lining of the stomach secretes mucus, hydrochloric acid and digestive juices. Now the mucus, which is protects the lining of the stomach. The hydrochloric acid, which is present in the stomach in a very small quantity. This kills the bacteria that enters along with the food. Sometimes we eat food which is kept open in the shop. Some flies have set or the food is a little stale. But whenever the food enters our stomach, the hydrochloric acid tries to kill the bacteria in it. And then we have some digestive juices in our stomach. These digestive juices break down the proteins into simpler substances. Now next we will learn about these digestive juices in detail.
The stomach, a J-shaped bag-like structure. Mucus, hydrochloric acid, and digestive juices that are present in the stomach act on the food to help digest it through chemical action. The mucous membrane protects the inner wall of the stomach from the effects of the acid. The hydrochloric acid kills the bacteria that enter along with the food and also helps in the digestion of proteins. The digestive juices start breaking down the proteins present in the food into simpler forms. Muscular contractions in the stomach churn this food mass to further break it down and mix it with secretions in the stomach to form a thick liquid.
Now let us learn about the associated glands. The first being liver. Liver is the largest gland of our body. It is reddish brown in color and this secretes bile juice. The bile juice that the liver secretes is stored in another associated gland called as gallbladder. The gallbladder is a small pouch that sits just under the liver. If you see the green picture here, the green small pouch is called as the gallbladder. The gallbladder stores the bile produced by the liver, and this bile helps in the digestion of fats. Whatever fats we eat, it is digested by these bile juices, which the liver secretes and is stored in the gallbladder. Let us learn about the other gland called the pancreas. Now, pancreas are creamish in color. It is located just below the stomach and it secretes pancreatic juice. This pancreatic juice helps in or acts on carbohydrates and proteins and changes them into simpler form. So if you notice here, you see all the three glands. You have the liver, which is the largest gland, which is reddish brown in color, the gallbladder and the pancreas. These glands help in digestion of food. Now let us just revise both the glands again. We have liver, which is reddish brown in color. It is the largest gland in the body. It secretes bile juice. This bile juice is that is stored in the gallbladder, and the bile juice plays an important role in digestion of fats. Pancreas, it is cream colored gland. It is located just below the stomach. It secretes pancreatic juice. The pancreatic juice acts on carbohydrates, fats and changes them into simpler form.
The secretions of two glands, liver and pancreas. Pancreas secrete pancreatic juice into the small intestine. Liver secretes bile, which is a greenish yellow liquid. It is stored in gallbladder. Bile helps in breaking fats present in food. The